morning. Is anybody out there today? Good morning. We are here to answer a reader question. Is anybody out there? Let's see. I need to pull up my question. I'm so tired this morning, guys. Good morning, Carrie. How are you? It is rainy here today. I am so tired. I've been having the strangest dreams. I don't know if you guys have been having weird dreams, but oh my God, I've been having the strangest dreams, you guys. And last night I dreamed of a shape-shifting praying mantis. How crazy is that? Hey, Susan. Good morning. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Brenda. How are you? Jane says that she's not getting any sound. Good morning, Jane. Is people not getting sound? Deborah Jo, can you hear me? Good morning. I am so tired. Super tired. Oh, Jane said she's got it. Good deal. Lucille, what is going on, guys? Do you have your coffee? Y'all, anybody else having strange dreams? Or is it just me? Maybe it's just me. Oh, Jane said she went back out and came in. Her sound is fine. Did you guys see the newsletter yesterday? And did you see the house? So yeah, the new house is coming along. I cannot wait until that happens. So now they are going to waterproof the walls, and then the plumber comes in. So that's exciting. And then they should start building. Good morning. Good morning, Brenda. Good morning. Good morning. I know. What's the weather where you guys are? It's raining here today, so they're for sure not going to do anything today. Hey, Peggy. Good morning. The coffee is, and the weather is great there in Atlanta. So my son, Jack, is actually getting ready to move to Statesville or State something other outside of Savannah. Do you know where that's at? He is actually doing graduate school basketball. He's a graduate assistant. He's going to be at the Southern Georgia Southern. He's going to be on that basketball coaching team. So it looks like, Peggy, that old Tanya K is going to be driving a lot to South Georgia during basketball season. I painted my nails. I haven't painted my nails in so long. Sometimes I just like white or just natural. So look at my sign. Be the reason someone smiles today. Every day I change out my sign. I've got the cutest little letters. And I like to change out my sign because it makes me happy. Makes me happy. So anyways, Peggy, do you know where that is at? Carrie said you'll love the basement for storage. We have 1,000 square foot house, and the basement helps a lot. Yeah, so actually, I'm not even having a garage. So if you look at that plan, if you look at the house that I sent in the newsletter, you'll see there's no garage. And that's because we are actually building a pole barn on the property because we have all those acres. So we're actually building a pole barn. And so, so the basement is not finished, but it is roughed in for plumbing, which Eddie can always finish the basement if we have to. But yeah, so one day I might have grandchildren from one of those 4 boys. So they could use it as a little place to ride their little bikes when it's raining or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. There might not ever have any grandkids. Who knows? Good morning, Cheryl. It's raining in Lexington, raining here. Jane says it's sunny but 61. I would take sunny and 61 over rain. Good morning, Kelly. How are you? Our lovely friend Kelly. Love you, love you, love you. Good morning, Brenda says 60% chance Saturday until it goes up to 70%. Oh man. Statesboro. That's it, Peggy. Have you ever heard of that school? So he's been down there a couple of times. So yeah, so he is not staying around here. Deborah Joe, you're keeping me company on my commute today. Oh, yay, Deborah Joe. You're so cute. Your Facebook page cracks me up. Peggy says it's a beautiful ride if you can get beyond the boring parts. Yeah, no joke. Listen, Cheryl says that she usually has to listen to it at work. Good morning from Nancy. So anyway, so a year ago, because I told you guys when I did the live last week that I would tell you about Eddie and the builder. So a year ago, when we started to build, so Eddie's super, super handy. And so he can build like anything. And so he's also, an electrician. So he ended up, I said to him, if we build this house, because, we bought the property back in December of 2019. And I said, if we build this house, are you going to be able to not interfere with the builder? Are you going to be able to just to let the builder build the house? So what happened is that we need to find a builder that's going to let him do the electric work, right? So I said, okay, that's fine. You can do the electric work, but let him build as a builder. And see, my dad is a builder. And so I knew that how things can happen when someone custom builds a house for you and how people can be. And I didn't want to be one of those people, right? So Eddie's like, oh yeah, I don't know nothing about building. So along each step of the way, Eddie has been at the house. So, we have those stupid cameras I've got to get rid of because I sit there all day long and watch them as I'm working. And so anyway, so they had done, when they put in the footers, they put in the that black tubing for like drainage. So the guy had come to do it with the builder. And Eddie comes after he leaves, and Eddie didn't like the way he did it. So, y'all, he took it all apart. He took it all apart. He went and bought the pieces that he needed, and he put it together. And I mean, granted, he did it really well, but that's just Eddie. And no kidding, he actually hand dug around the foundation where he wanted it to go to drain. And it took him all day long. And he hand dug around the foundation, the gravel that they put down, and buried it and took pictures along the way, sent it out to the builder because the worker didn't do it to Eddie's standards. So I'm like taking pictures of I sent it to my parents because I'm like, oh my God, Eddie could have never worked with my daddy. And so, I mean, I just want to have a scream fit. So anyways, what happened was that, but the builder didn't care. They're like, oh, okay, great, but anyways, I'm like, Eddie, you have got to calm down and let this guy build the house. So y'all know that we don't have city water. City water is like, it literally is like well, okay, so it's kind of hard to explain because we own the middle part and up of the hill, and there's some like land down at the bottom of the hill that some people like live on, but acres away. So like they own part of the land up the hill, and then there's woods, and then there's our land. So what happened was that we want to get water. And so literally water is like 3 houses away, but not really like it's 3 houses away, but acres away, right? So we had gone to one of the neighbors next to us because we're going to do a boring, underground boring company, which they don't dig up your yard. They just actually bore under the ground. And so what happened is that there's a neighbor a few acres away that we would have to actually get an easement to go through his property to get water, because I want city water. And because, I mean, we do have we have spring and a spring well. And so what happened was that I want city water. So I went to the neighbor, and this might show up in a book one day. So the wife answers the door. And I was like, oh, I got this really crazy vibe from her. And I told her who I was and what I wanted. And so she said, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. My husband, what's your number? I'll have my husband call you. And I'm like, okay. So this was like 2 months ago, and he never called. So then there's another house next to that I could actually go through and bore up. And he is an actual ex-cop. And he was like, okay, so y'all aren't drug people, right? Because, I used to have to go up there and bust that house all the time for drugs. So I'm like, oh no, we tore that house down. And so what happened was that so I said what we were doing, we were going to spider on the water, and we need to bore and do an easement up his property. And he's like, oh yeah, great. And he's totally on board because he now wants water. He's like, I'll do the water too. And so then the neighbor that lives down the hill, Joyce, who sometimes comes on here, she also wants water. So now we've got 3 of us that want water, which I'm like, oh, this is great, because also it cuts down the price for us. So the state said, well, you just have to get permission from all the people that live in those houses where you're going to bore under, because they need to know what you're doing. So you need to get a signed, notarized document that says, you're boring, underground boring. It's not gonna hurt their property, but they need, they need to know what you're doing. So when we go back to the lady that I told you about in the first part of the story, that she said her husband would call me, we went and we looked up the plat at the PVA, and they don't own the land down to the road where we would spider on that water. Somebody else owns an acre there, but it's all woods. So, it's kind of like our house. It's all woods, but you go up this driveway, and then there's our property, or the house. So this is the same thing. Like, there's the water, and there's like the woods, and then you go up this driveway, and there's their house. So we thought that they owned all of that property. Well, they don't. So we started doing some research, and good old Facebook, I found the name on the tax bill, because I couldn't find a deed, but I found a tax bill. So I found the name. I look on Facebook, and the name is on Facebook, and she lives in the area. So then I look on the PVA for where she lived in the area, and found a phone number. So I call her, and I said, hi, my name is Tanya Kappas, and we actually bought the property by your property on Mary Ingalls. And she's like, oh, hun. And I'm trying to tell her what I want about the underground. She's like, oh yeah, you can come over to my house anytime I sign anything. I don't even know I know about that property, but it's my husband's property, and he's been dead for 5 years. And that property was passed down to him from his aunt. And she went on and on about this property and how they got the property, and that there's no heirs, and she's never seen it. And I'm thinking, wow, okay. So then I said, oh, I got to put my thinking cap on, and I said, would you be interested in selling the property? And I'm thinking, I don't know what to offer her, right? So she said, oh yeah, I'll sell it. She goes, as a matter of fact, about 4 years ago, after my husband died, he's been dead 5 years, and about 4 years after he died, and she kept honeying and sugar me. And so she's just so sweet. And she said, after my husband died, somebody called about the property, and I told him I'd sell it to him for $5,000, but I didn't know how to get the property in their name because I don't have the deed, but I've been paying the tax bill. And I'm like, property for $5,000? And I'm thinking, I'll pay her $5,000, right? And so she said, and she said, but if you want to buy it, I'll sell it to you for $500. Sold. I said, yeah, I'll buy it for $500. And so she said, we got to figure out how to. I said, oh, I'll figure out how to get it to my name. I'll figure out how to get the deed. So tonight I'm meeting her at her house and getting all the paperwork. So the deed has been really hard to track down, but that way I don't need anybody's permission to get water. I got my own land to get my own water, $500. So anyway, so I totally am going to meet with her tonight with my brother-in-law. He's a notary, and so we're all going over there to meet with her. And then I also still have to get the cop and the lady down the hill to give me their signed permission, because I still want to get all the signed permission stuff just in case the whole but I couldn't find a deed, but the PDA and the county clerk, they all gave me the right paperwork that shows, because they do have all the information that she has been paying the tax bill, that and he's been taking tax for 20 years. So it's been kind of crazy. So, but I mean, it's big enough to build a house on too. I mean, it's an acre of land. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I called Eddie. I go, well, we own another acre of land on Mary Eagles Highway. He's like, what? I said, I bought an acre for $500. He's like, oh my gosh, Tanya, what do you do all day long? Do you just sit around and think about things? I go, yeah, I do. So anyway, so we're going to go do that. And hopefully, but I mean, I don't know if we'll ever clear that land, but at least it's where we can get like utilities and things up to that hill that weren't there before, right? So I did also get a gas line up the hill. So that means I get a gas stove again. So I'm happy about that. And then when I get the water up there, I can buy my refrigerator. So it is crazy. But that was funny. So tonight we've got we pick up the deed from one of the county clerks here, and we're going to take it to her, and then we're going to sign off on that, and all that good fun stuff. So that is my building story for the day. So isn't that crazy how things work out?